So come on, let's be honest right now. Who's ever bought the wrong golf club? I'm laughing because I know in the past I have. So if you buy the wrong golf clubs, one, it's absolutely costing you a fortune, but two, it's costing you shots out on the golf course. Now, because I bought the wrong golf clubs in the past, I have been stung a few times. So here are my top 5 mistakes that I've been telling everybody that you need to avoid, whether you're buying brand new, whether you're buying second hand, or you're getting fitted for golf clubs. Please think about this. And you know what? I actually really want to hear those stories. So down below in the comment, let us know what golf club it was that you bought, when you bought it, and how long did it actually stay in the bag? It might even be in the bag and you're just not performing well with it. I think it's an interesting point. So my first point I want to get into here is buying golf clubs the pros use. I'm laughing at this so much. I need to explain this. So let's play a few holes together and I'm going to tell you the rest of these. But number one, don't buy golf clubs the pros use. Don't. Oh, yes, please. That's perfect. That is perfect. So when I've been stung with this is obviously I saw Ricky Fowler use the Ricky Fowler copper blades. Come on, you know what irons they are. You can picture them, you can see them right now. So I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna get a set of them. I'm gonna use them. They look class. Alex, that is the worst decision I could ever have made. Even like Ricky Fowler struggled to use them. So my first point where I was really stung is I saw Ricky Fowler use these bladed irons and I was like, I think I can play golf all right. I want to use them. The worst decision, and I played my worst golf for around about a year because I just couldn't hit the blades. I just couldn't hit them. In that scenario right there, let me just find and turn this round. I should have gone for maybe like a bit of a graduated set. So maybe a blade in like the pitching wedge, the 9-iron, possibly the 8-iron, but then make them sort of more into a muscle back than something a little chunkier. So a graduated set or what you call like sort of a combo set. So the first one, don't buy golf clubs the pros use. It's funny that, isn't it? Because all the marketing is X player uses this club, X player uses that club. Use the clubs that are right for you. I would probably say this is more sort of for irons, less so for driver, especially where the market's gone in 2024. So generally with irons, don't just buy the ones the pros use. Oh yes, I'm really enjoying that Ping G430 10K max driver. And the next point on my list is lie angle of your irons. Now, even if you are buying second hand, you can take these to shops and actually get them bashed around a little bit to make sure you have the correct dynamic lie angle. Let me explain. And to be perfectly honest with you, this is the easiest way of explaining it. First, think about this. The more loft you have in your hand, the more the effect lie angle will have on your start direction. So for example, like 58 will have a bigger effect than something like a 4-iron. But just to explain what lie angle is, and it's dynamic lie angle. What is your club doing as it comes into the golf ball? This has a big impact on the start direction of your golf ball. So let's say this is the ground and this is our golf club coming in. Our ideal is it comes into the golf ball flush and flat to the ground on a flat shot. So something like this. And if you've been lucky enough to be fitted before in the past, club fitters will place tape along the bottom and hopefully you'll have seen yourself strike it out of here in the end of your fitting, not out the toe when it interacts with the ground and not out the heel. They call that like striking tape or sort of tape here they place on the bottom just to sort of see where your club's interacting with the ground. Okay, so we know if it's flush what happens. And if you're coming into the golf ball and the toe is interacting with the ground, this means your golf club lie angle is far too flat. Now in terms of ball flight, you'll see the ball launch a little right of target. So I'm going to repeat that again. If this toe is interacting with the ground, the lie angle of the club is far too flat and you'll start to see some right shots. Now if the heel interacts with the ground, like this means your club lie angle is far too upright. Shots that you'll see is shots that start a little left of target. This is too flat, this is too upright, this would be perfect. So you could buy some of those tapes just off Amazon, place them on the bottom, grab a striking board and hit off there. See what your pattern is. Now, if you are launching it left and striking on the heel part of the club, on the ground, as in terms of where the club's interacting, you can get it knocked and made a little flatter. If the toe's interacting, you can, again, go and take these to a shop and say, make these clubs a degree or half a degree or a degree and a half more upright. So you're starting to get that bit here interacting with the ground, not the extremities of the club. Wow, this is a long way. And this is an example of when I was younger, I got clubs that were far too upright for me because I am relatively short and I kept hitting it way off to the left. Also, some of my lessons, they had clubs that were far too flat for them and they're constantly hitting off to the right. Now, if you slice, that's gonna hurt, really hurt. So just get in the right lie angle, get in the right position, you can have them knocked a little bit by a degree or two by a club fitting service. It will cost a little bit, but it's gonna be cheaper than buying new irons. Ooh. Oh, it's just short. That is a long way today. Dead straight though. This leads me really nicely onto my third point. And I'm talking about putters. Now, let's think about forgiveness over style. I'm laughing because every time I get my Lab Golf DF3 out, everybody goes, wow, Alex, that is really ugly. And yeah, I can't disagree. But, I have certainly gone down the route of forgiveness over style. Now, how many times do we see, let's say Tiger Woods, use a bladed putter? And we all go, oh, right, okay, I can get a ping answer going. I can use a bladed style putter. I can use a Scotty Cameron. I can't think of another blade in my head right now, but I can use a bladed putter. Well, I want you to think about this differently. I want you to use a putter that just doesn't just look good, but it actually makes you play better. Think about it, it's the most used club in our bag, so having it perform well is pretty integral to us lowering our scores. So I want you to think of forgiveness over style. Now, a few things that I would look for, please get in the hole, is essentially the bigger this area is behind the head, the more MOI a putter has, and that's moment of inertia. The simplest way you've got to think about it is the more forgiving a putter is. Then if we take a bladed example, it wouldn't have this area here, it'd be a lot smaller. Those putters tend to have a lot smaller MOI, therefore off-center hits are, well, scrutinized more, and you actually have to get it out the middle and be a lot more accurate. So point number 3 on this list, please, when you're looking at a new putter, use a putter that you're not just buying because you think it looks good and is stylish. I mean, the craze would have been an also one here, but I mean, you get this, and I was falling foul to this, is the Spider with that neck. Remember Jason Day used the all black one? I thought, right, I've got to get one of them. I've got to use it. Couldn't use it for toffee. I was absolutely terrible with it, and it cost me so many shots. I went down the style route, and even that had a big back to it. But my point being, don't just go for style, go for forgiveness and something you can actually use. That's point number 3 when looking at putters. We've all been there, haven't we? We've all been there. Let's now get on to point number 4. Now, get into the key bits here, and these are really, really common, silly mistakes that are so easily avoided. So here's point number 4. Now, how many of us have bought second hand? I'll be honest, in the last few years, the second hand market, I think, has really started to explode a little bit. Oh, sit down, it's a bit hard. Has started to explode a little bit. So let's first talk wedges. Wedges. I need you to double, triple, quadruple check, not what the back of the club is like, but the grooves. You have to get your hands on them, preferably if you can, even when buying second hand. Run your thumb down the grooves. Do they still feel sharp? Because, right, I'll be honest with you, if they don't feel sharp, I'm not gonna say it's pointless, but it's certainly, well, it's near enough. Wedges, you're using them because you want some spin on the golf ball. You want to be able to stop the golf ball. Hit the flag. Ah! You want to be able to stop the golf ball quickly, and if there's no grooves, well, you just can't do that. So with wedges, just double, triple, quadruple check the grooves. Ideally, if you can get your hands on them. So let's talk irons. I'm not really too bothered what the backs of the golf clubs are like. Obviously, if they're really worn and marked in here, that will be a big telltale sign. But let's get checking some of the most used clubs. Now, I find a lot of people will use a 7-iron a lot down the range, and also probably a 9-iron. you want to be checking, is there excessive wear on the face on some of the most used clubs? And if there isn't, we're good to go. And finally, if you're buying drivers secondhand, yes, we want to look at the bottom of the club, make sure it's not too scratched, but double check the crown area. And a place people always forget to check is this area on the shaft. It's like this bit here, you can imagine where it's been rubbing and wearing on a bag. Sometimes it can be worn away that much on certain bags, it creates a little bit of a weak point. And you don't want to be that person where you're like watching your mates drive and it goes on you, because you've just then wasted, let's say 150, 250, 300 pounds potentially, depending on what driver you bought. So please, if you're buying secondhand, watch out for those culprit areas. Now, let's get on to the final point. Point number 5. And this really quite simply is shaft flex. Don't just buy the shaft so you can walk onto the first tee and go, yeah lads or girls or guys, whatever, I've got the stiff flex shaft or the extra stiff. If it's not right for you, don't just buy it. Make sure you buy the right shaft. Now, just look at this here on the screen. This is just some general advice on what I would look for in terms of what club head speed you have, and then therefore what shaft you should use. This is really nice and simple. Follow this simple guide. And if you're buying secondhand, you're buying off the shelf, don't just buy the stiffest shaft possible because you think you need that. Look at this table, buy educated. You're gonna hit it longer, you hit it straighter, and you'll just, well, you'll impress your mates more because you'll be shooting lower scores. Thanks for watching.